Rheumatoid arthritis. You've definitely heard of it. For so many people, it's this daily, grinding battle where your own body basically turns on you. But what if? What if the entire way we think about it, and more importantly, how we treat it, is missing a massive piece of the puzzle? Today we're diving into a really fascinating perspective, the SNEP approach. It's a whole new lens that shifts the focus away from just the painful joints and onto the body's own command center.
So here's what we've got on tap. First, we'll unpack what's actually going on with this betrayal inside the body. Then, we're going to dig into a hidden cause that has everything to do with our nerves. From there, we'll look at why current treatments can sometimes fall short and explore a totally different path. A path that, believe it or not, leads us to an absolutely incredible story.
All right, first up, what is actually happening when someone has rheumatoid arthritis? Well, the way our source material puts it is powerful. It's a fundamental betrayal.
Okay, so to really get RA, you first have to get your head around this term, autoimmune disease. And this analogy here is just perfect. Think of your immune system as your body's personal security force, right? Its job is to fight off bad guys, like viruses and bacteria. But in an autoimmune disease, the security force gets confused. It goes rogue. Instead of attacking invaders, it starts attacking the good guys, your own healthy cells. In RA, the main target is the lining of your joints.
You know, the thing is, it doesn't always start with a bang. The source points out that the early signs can be super subtle. You might just feel completely wiped out all the time, not hungry, just weak. That classic sign, of course, is the morning stiffness, feeling like the Tin Man before he gets his oil can. But what's really interesting here is that these early symptoms, they look a whole lot like issues with the autonomic nervous system. And that right there is a huge clue. Keep that in your back pocket because we are definitely coming back to it.
And that brings us to the core of this whole new perspective. What if the fire we see in the joints, the inflammation, isn't where the problem starts? What if it's just the smoke? This approach suggests the real spark is happening somewhere much, much deeper, in the body's master control system. And this is the question that just flips the whole script. We all kind of know that stress makes things worse, right? But what if it's not just pouring a little gasoline on the fire? What if stress is the actual match that lights the fire in the first place?
This lays out the theory perfectly. It's like a chain of dominoes. It all kicks off with too much stress. That stress messes with your autonomic nervous system. Think of it as your body's autopilot. It's supposed to switch between fight or flight for emergencies and rest and digest for healing. But when you're chronically stressed, you get stuck in fight or flight. That, in turn, messes up your blood circulation. And when your circulation is off, well, that's when the immune system gets bad signals and gets thrown into chaos, which can lead it to make that catastrophic mistake of attacking you.
So we've got this runaway immune system causing all this inflammation. What's the real damage if this keeps going? And maybe more importantly, are the standard treatments we have today actually solving the root problem or just creating new ones?
And listen, the stakes could not be higher. This is no joke. The source is crystal clear that this isn't just about feeling achy. We're talking about a ticking clock. If this chronic inflammation is left unchecked, it can cause permanent, irreversible damage to the joints in as little as 2 years. That's function you can't get back.
So what's the typical game plan? Bring in the heavy hitters, immunosuppressants. These drugs are designed to quiet that overactive immune response. But here's the catch. They're like a sledgehammer when you really need a scalpel. They can't just target the one part that's gone haywire. No, they suppress the entire system, which can leave a person wide open to infections. They're silencing the fire alarm for sure, but they're not putting out the fire. They never touch the why.
Okay, and this is where the SNEPI perspective really offers a glimmer of hope. If the problem isn't just the immune system itself, but that whole chain reaction that causes it to go haywire, well then maybe the solution is to go back to that very first domino and stop it from falling.
You can really see the two different mindsets laid out here. On one side, you have the conventional approach. Goal, immune suppression. Method, use drugs to block the symptoms. On the other side, you have this SNEP perspective. The goal isn't suppression, it's restoration. The method isn't to block the symptoms, it's to fix the root cause, improve circulation so the immune system can go back to working properly. It's about helping the body remember how to do its job right.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the spirit of this approach. It's a huge shift from just managing a disease to actively trying to help the body heal itself and get back to its natural, balanced state.
So this all sounds really great in theory, right? But I know what you're thinking. Okay, sounds good, but show me the proof. Does this actually work for real people? Well, get ready for this story.
Yeah, Just let that sink in for a second. A patient with rheumatoid arthritis now runs marathons, a condition that can make it painful just to open a jar, and this person is running 26.2 miles for fun. This one fact just turns everything we assume about this disease completely on its head.
So let's get into the details, because they're amazing. We're talking about a woman in her 50s. Her RA was so bad she literally couldn't do her job as a massage therapist anymore. But after going through this SNEP approach, focused on fixing that nerve function and circulation, her inflammation went down. And she didn't just get a little better. She got strong enough to start running marathons and go back to her physically demanding career. It's not just an improvement, it's a total transformation.
And I love this quote from her. It wasn't just, oh, my joints feel better. No, she said she felt like her body had fundamentally changed. That's so much deeper. It speaks to a feeling of being whole again, of her body finally working for her instead of against her.
A story like that, wow, it offers such an incredible beacon of hope. But you know what I really respect about the source we're exploring today? It's the honesty about where a story like this fits into the big picture of science.
The speaker is the first to admit this. In the formal world of science, one person's amazing story, an anecdote, isn't enough to prove a theory for everyone. And you know what? That transparency builds a ton of trust. He's not trying to sell you something, he's sharing what he's seen.
And then he follows it up with this, which is just so powerful. Because while one story isn't a massive clinical trial, these individual breakthroughs, they can be the sparks. They can light up a new path, inspire new ways of thinking, and maybe most importantly, give real hope to people who feel like they've hit a dead end.
And really, that's the question this whole perspective leaves us with. It's a completely different way to look at this devastating disease. And it suggests that maybe, just maybe, by focusing on helping the body restore its own fundamental systems, we might find some truly powerful answers that have been right there all along.
Now, if this idea really resonates with you and you're curious to learn more, the source does point toward a practical next step. There are practitioners trained in this method, and you can find them through a website called Suk. We've put that name right there on the screen for you. Thank you so much for diving into this with us today.